Welcome to the Purpose Driven Mom Show, episode 371. This is a really fun one because I actually sat down to do my podcast planning and I thought, well, this is the kind of stuff people are asking to see. We might as well do it live on the podcast. And I'm going to do some planning. I'm not going to plan my whole quarter out, but I'm going to show you our podcasting process. Now, that being said, we are now doing a YouTube channel where we're showing some visual things. And this is the one reason. There's a few reasons I wanted to do YouTube. Maybe I'll talk about that in a second. While I was thinking about do we want to do YouTube? There's a few things that popped in my mind. One, people prefer YouTube to podcasting, right? That's just one thing. But the real thing was, I was thinking about accessibility. If someone who is deaf or hard of hearing, are they able to even ever listen to a podcast if it doesn't have a video attached with captions? And that's bothered me for the past 2 years. Like, how is someone who cannot hear be able to hear me if they don't have captions on it? And we never had that. So we thought, what can we do? What if we make a YouTube? People can watch it. They can look at the captions, right? And it'll just kind of like all work out for them. So that was one of the reasons. The other thing, though, I was thinking about when it came to YouTube is there's so many things I want to show you. There's so many things I want to visually be able to show you about my behind the scenes. I use Trello. I use ClickUp. They're just cooler to look at online. So I thought, what if I was able to do that? And this is going to be one of those episodes. So listen, this episode's on the podcast. Obviously, you are listening to it, hopefully there or on the YouTube. You can listen to it. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to do my best to explain without you seeing. I'm also going to show it. So the show notes, purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 371, they're going to have a direct link over to the YouTube channel to the video if you want to watch me do this. So if you're at a place where you can like have your computer out, I would recommend that over the phone because I'm going to show you like the ClickUp software. Now would be the time to transfer over to the YouTube channel to go listen to it. If you want to listen to me now because you're in the car and then think, hey, I might want to watch this later, depending on how you learn, cool. If you just want to listen, we're going to talk about ClickUp today. I'm going to talk about my podcast process and how I'm setting up the quarter, because I've been sharing the past few weeks. We got really behind, and we got behind because life happened, and a lot of life happened, and I was able to stay afloat, but I wasn't able to get back ahead into a good place. I like to operate 3 to 4 weeks ahead. Why? Because life's going to happen. And so what happened was we were ahead, right? We intentionally took a summer off. I was ahead. Life hit me hard over the summer. Lots of things happened, and I was basically using all my reserves. I used all of my episodes we had podcasted, all of my work, and I was back to scrambling. And I sat with my team. I apologized because I knew I was being the bottleneck. And I was like, how can we get ahead? And I shared this in last week's episode. So you can go back and listen to that. It was 370 about how I'm using that framework to get back ahead. And it feels good. I'm still at this moment, not quote on top of, I'm still a little behind my podcast episode recordings, but I'm feeling really good. And we made a goal of getting back to 3 to 4 weeks ahead by the end of October with those episodes. And I'm just feeling really inspired right now. So I'm kind of riding the wave because here's the other thing, this might be what my next book is called, right? Motivation is fickle. Motivation is fickle, right? It does not care. And I don't feel like doing stuff every day. And some days I want to take a nap or read a book or work on a different project. And I want to ride the momentum. I know this is like also aligned with my cycle. There's so much planning you can do. Like I really want to ride that wave while I'm feeling like it. So anyway, today we're recording a episode on podcast planning, and I'm going to show you in full transparency how I'm behind, but I'm catching up and I'm getting it set up. So what I'm going to show you is ClickUp. Inside ClickUp is where we keep our communication for our podcast. ClickUp is a project management software. Now, Cara, you're always about Trello. I love Trello. Trello is my bread and butter when it comes to my personal goals. I do all my personal stuff on Trello. With work, I have found ClickUp for my team to work more intuitively. I say that because I have a team of 7, right? So there's a lot of us, a lot of, hands in the cookie jar, a lot of people, a lot of communication, a lot of things that we need. ClickUp does a lot of the same things that Trello does. I just think for teams, it's better. As a solopreneur, I stuck with Trello. Trello worked when it was just me, but now we do business. So I do business on ClickUp, personal on Trello. And I like that separation. I like that separation because it actually allows me to know, hey, if I'm in my ClickUp, like I'm in my work zone and here's my personal zone. So I really like it. Now, I do pay for a small ClickUp plan just because of the amount of people I have, but I feel like there's a lot of things you can do on ClickUp that is free on the free plan as well. So I always recommend go check it out, see what it is. I feel like I probably have a link somewhere. So if there is an affiliate link, which again, appreciate if you use it, I get a small commission if you buy for ClickUp. It'll be in the show notes. If I don't find it, just go to ClickUp. I don't care. These are the things I want to get organized in 2024. I'm like, dang, I could be making so many affiliate commissions for things that I just suggest, but I just can never. I'm like, where's that link? I know I have a link somewhere for it, but I just want to help you. So anyway, check out ClickUp. They have some great free training, ClickUp University. essentially what you're doing on ClickUp is keeping your stuff organized. Now, I'm going to show you today how we use it for the podcast. I'm going to show you how we set up a template card and how I use it to plan and what I get planned out. All right. We're not going to go into all of it, but I'm going to show you a little bit because there's some stuff like that is a little bit personal that we don't want to put up on blast on the internet. But what I'm going to do now is take a second and I'm going to share my screen if you are watching over on YouTube or you're listening, and I'm going to walk you through the first thing we did, which is our podcast template card, why we did it the way we did, and how it worked out. So let me share my screen over here and we're good. Okay. So this is what ClickUp looks like in the calendar view. I'll show you a couple different views real quick. So the ones that we use the most, there's list view. List view on ClickUp is like Asana. So if you use Asana, you can see there's a bunch of stuff that's like, we don't use this view. So I don't even know this stuff is, it says it's like not, 2 years old or whatever. I don't even use this view. So it doesn't matter that much to me, but some people like an Asana type view. So if you like a list view, you can use that. There's also the list view. Now, I like the list view, not for podcasting. I use the list view on my personal boards, which I'll do other YouTube videos on how to use ClickUp for it. So I don't really use it for this one. The one that we like also is the board view. Board view looks like Trello. The reason I like this is because we'll kind of move episodes through. So across the top here, we've got different categories and columns. They're basically the stages of podcasting. So if you're setting up a system in ClickUp, the first thing I recommend is you make a list of what are my stages of podcasting, right? So for us, brainstorming is what I do first, right? SEO, deciding on topics, etc., things like that. For next up, I then have, if I'm having an interview, scheduling or confirming the schedule, right? Like I can't do any of my next steps until the schedule is done. If I'm doing solo episodes, which I've just done so many more of the past year because my schedule has changed and life has happened. I was really sick this year. It was really hard for me to do interviews. So I didn't have as many, but scheduling and confirming. Once that's done, we move to the outlining stage. That's our next list. So you can physically take I think they're called cards. They're cards on Trello, but you can move this little card over in the process. And what this allows you to do on ClickUp is see visually where it's at. Crap, I have 3 episodes I have to outline. All right, let's get to it. Now, what's great about this is batching. When I'm batching and it's podcast days, so I used to have podcast days be Thursdays for me, but I decided this year in planning, or the second Q4, that I'm going to have one day off where I schedule no calls, and that's going to be Wednesdays. It used to be Thursdays, but because I do group coaching calls, I was feeling a little scattered. I was like, I feel like I have either a team meeting, a group coaching call, podcast interviews. I'm no rhyme or reason every day. I want a full day off. I want a day off so that I took a nap when I dropped my kids off from school. I took like a nice little power nap and then I got up and I got going. If I want to read my book a little, if I want to go meet a friend for coffee, or if I just need a full day to be a CEO. So often my day is like truncated because I'm like, I got to get on this call. I got to do that. I don't like that. So it's things I'm changing for 2024. So anyway, I made that change. Wednesdays are going to be my podcast day. Why? Because if I have no other calls today, this is the second one that I'm recording. I'm kind of in the podcasting mood. I'm in the spirit. I'm not always going to be recording, but I might be an outline day. So if it's Wednesday, I know I can look here and be like, oh, I'm going to do all my outlines because my brain is in outline mode. I'll do all the outlines that I have due the next 4 or 5 batch ahead. It's just a smarter way to work. Okay. So I've got all the outlines there. It then moves to recording. So that's me. That's what I got to do next is record. And then it moves to my team. Okay. Then it moves over to my team where they're working on images, editing, show notes. And then we move into the promotional stages of writing the emails, scheduling them out we're using a new scheduler. It's called Social Pilot. I'll report back if we like it, but we can schedule to lots of things, including my Instagram stories, which I'm really excited about. So my one team member is taking over, especially now that we're doing YouTube. It schedules it to YouTube. She's got it all under there. And then it's up for promotion into our regular Facebook group, our free group, etc. Okay. So when you're setting up a process like ours, the first thing you have to do is write down your system. Because if you don't have your system written down at all, none of this matters because you're going to sit down to make a process and be like, I don't know what to do. Now, you might be like, Cara, I don't even know my system because I'm brand new. I'm just starting. How do I even make a system? Well, then you do it. So as you're doing the thing, writing the blog post, doing the podcast, doing the course launch, making a new freebie, I want you to write it down. Now, you could record as you go, but I think in the beginning, it's just write it down. So what's the first thing I do when I have to do a blog post? What's the second thing I do? Every step, and this goes back to the 15 minutes or less, every single step. Like, what am I doing? What are these small chunks I'm taking to do it? This is going to make it so much easier. Again, you know me, I'm going to tell you small things. If I just write down, outline an episode, if my kid is homesick, or I'm sick, or I'm having a hard day, or mental health, or whatever it is, if I open my thing up and I see I just have to outline one episode today, I'm like, all right, I can do that. That'll take me less than 15 minutes. Let me just get it done. And at least I can move forward somehow. It mentally is the game that gets you moving forward, right? So start with writing down your system. What does your system look like? Write it down, okay? Now, once you're into that, what you're going to do is kind of create, I would recommend on ClickUp, you create a board like this, okay? So when you're on ClickUp, when you're doing that, this is something coming from the Trello world. So you can import Trello boards into ClickUp, which I love. And so the first 3 months I used ClickUp, I would just make my boards on Trello and import them because I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what's happening? I was getting so mad. So one of the things I didn't realize, which might be like a duh moment for other people, but not for I just didn't get it. So I'm going to share it with you, is on Trello, when you want to create a new list, you kind of hit right here next to where you want your list, right? You say add new list. It's not like that on ClickUp. And I couldn't find it for a month. I was like, where is the button? I just want a new list. So I wanted to show you, if you're watching visually, you go into any of these columns you have across the top and you hit the 3 dots. You have to go into edit status to be able to do that. So the step 1 is you write down your process. And again, I recommend on ClickUp, you have a board for everything you have a process for. Facebook, blog, customer service, everything should have a board. This way you can have things in workflow. And even if you're a solopreneur, it just, again, it helps with your batching. All right. So you're going to go in and then you go to the bottom and you can add statuses this way. Once you add them, then you can kind of move them around. Okay. So I'm actually going to move that one there because that needs to go there. You hit save, and now you've got your statuses in the order that you would like them. All right. So you write down your batches and then you add your statuses and you hit save so that you know that it's good to go. So I recommend you do a board like this, but I also like doing this on a calendar when I'm planning. And that's really kind of what I wanted to show you today. So there's other views, there's tables, there's docs. We're just going to go to the calendar view. And if you're not looking, it's a calendar. Now, what really helps us kind of get ahead is planning this way, because inside each of these cards, we have one for every episode. It's got all the information. We're not looking for a million places. Where's that image of that guest? Where's their freebie link? Do you have the outline for this? Again, the podcast is the one thing in my business almost everyone's hand touches, right? So once I record it, it goes out to the team. Almost everyone is inside of this somehow. And so this is what I did the other day. I went through our process and I took kind of all the tiny steps and I wrote them out on a card. I'm going to show you in a second. And I went to make a template card. I then asked my team, can you review this? What step am I missing that you do? We're doing a project right now where we're updating all of our systems and our SOPs. So we know that we have a massive manual. That's kind of our big goal. So I asked my team, what's missing? So I made those in here. The other thing I did was I made a description. So let me show you the card if you're watching. Come on over. And you can see here, our team can communicate. This is our real board. So if you're looking, this is where our team's kind of talking about it. And this, again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of us on this thread. So a lot of people involved here, right? So inside the podcast template card, I made a couple things. The SOP is linked right here. Oh, you can't see that because I'm not screen sharing that page, but it links right over to the SOP, the entire written out step by step, so that if somebody else has the role, they can take it. And then it has here about the episode on Thursdays, we do a pre-roll and then a mid-roll on and mid-roll. On Mondays, we only do a mid-roll because Mondays tend to be shorter episodes. Now we might change that because I'm not doing as many guests. The way I used to do it was I would do guests on Thursdays. So because they were longer episodes, we didn't feel any type of way about putting 2 ads in there. But now I'm maybe we'll just do 2 anyway. And then some things down here are promotional docs. So we have one doc. I actually don't have it linked here to show you, but we have one doc. It's new and it has all of the promotional graphics in it. It has the social media posts, the YouTube link, the TikTok that one person on my team is now doing. So we're fine tuning that. So there's going to be a link to a Google Doc. Again, you can use docs in ClickUp. I don't like having everything in ClickUp because it's the internet. And so I want to have a backup of things places. Who knows, right? If ClickUp is down one day and I needed that link, I'm going to be glad it's on Drive, right? So that just goes here so we can all see it. Then there's the outline. So this is for me. This is how I outline a podcast episode. I will tell you this episode right now, I have no outline for. I'm just kind of off the cuff. I also do that. I've been podcasting now since 2019. So more often than not, I can just talk off the cuff. But there are some times where I want to make sure I have my outline, particularly if I have a guest. So I'll have a guest outline because a week before we send them that outline so they can see it. But otherwise, I try to answer these questions. Why? Why is what we're talking about relevant? What are we going to talk about today? How do you do the thing that we're talking about? And then a what if to present to the people, right? What if you could use this? right? Wouldn't it be great? And I'll tell you, I used this outline last week when I recorded an episode and I didn't even look at it. Like I had it printed next to me since now I'm doing YouTube. I want to be like looking at the camera. So I had it next to me and I forgot to even do the what if part, but that's like, like what if you could change this? What would be like that? Like kind of that emotional connection. And then a now what? Like call to action. So again, that's just kind of our outline. Why, what, how, what if, now what? And then if there's a guest, their image goes here, their bio and their links. This way, because I have one person on my team who manages my guests, right? She's in my inbox. She manages my appointments. She needs to get those things over to the other person on my team who edits and needs the show notes. And then they need to get that stuff over to the other person who schedules the emails, right? So you see how, because there's multiple hands in there, we really want to make sure it's through. So what I did after that was I asked them, hey, can you review the top part of this? Let me know what's missing. So in the top part of your system, right, that's where you want to keep all the information. One of the things that was holding us back was we were too many places. Like we had the guest information in Airtable. Some of it was in our scheduling Acuity. And it was like, can we just put it in one place? So now it's all in one place. So ask yourself when you're making your system, like, what can I put in one place to be easier? Then what I did was I took those subtasks and I put them here. Now this is the template card. So maybe I'll show you for the one that I'm doing now. Hold on. Let me come out of this real quick. So this is the episode that I'm doing right now. As you can see today, and I'll let you know, I'm behind. Today is the 7th. Our goal is to get 3 weeks ahead. And by that, I mean, I have recorded an episode 3 weeks before it's due. And the reason that we pick those subtasks is because if I've and we would like to be 4 weeks ahead, but I'm just not there. If I can record it 3 weeks before it's due, then it can go to the next set of team members 2 weeks before it's due. So they can work on the editing and the show notes. Then 1 week before it's due, I can give all my reviews and everyone can get everything scheduled. That way, the week it's due, we're not scrambling the night before to schedule an email. And then if something's late, if something's missing, we have buffer. Our goal is to be 4 weeks. We're just not there. So that's just kind of my thought behind why we like to be ahead, because fires are going to pop up in the business, right? So you want to plan for it. So this is the one I'm doing today. So you can see I'm a little bit behind, but we'll talk about the subtasks. The due dates in a second. So this is kind of a subtask list underneath. And we really like this for my team because it goes up on everyone's boards, right? Like they can see their own subtasks. Now, this is our flow and I'll read it to you, but if you're watching, you can see it. Create the title and topic, right? That's just one small task. You see how if I had to sit down and work and I just wrote record episode 371, or I just wrote record whatever, do 3071, my brain would be like, nah, I'm not doing that, right? But to say to myself, make a title and a topic for 371. Like that's manageable. That's manageable with a kid hanging on me. That's manageable if I've had a hard day. Okay. That's manageable when I'm tired. Right. So, we'll, do that now. We'll call that one using ClickUp for your podcast planning. Now, I'm not going to do it now because we're actually like on here, but what I would then do as part of my creating this is I would put it into some of our SEO tools that we use. We like to use Uber Suggest. Stick it in there and see if they have a better title option. I could put it into ChatGPT if I'm not sure and say, give me 5 podcast titles that are SEO driven. I'll do that as soon as I'm done recording today, but I wanted to show you that like I could do that. And then when I'm done with it, I go here because right now it's kind of in this phase of brainstorming and I hit complete. Now the subtask is off my main list and it's off the card. And then I know where it's at. And then I also can move it to the next phase. So our next phase is scheduling and confirm. Okay. In the scheduling and confirm phase, this is if I have a guest, they're going to get scheduled by my VA. I don't. It's just me. So what I tend to do is if it's not a guest, I will just close it for her. She doesn't even need to see it because there's nothing for her to do. Okay. The next thing that I do is move it to the next phase, which is the outlining. So in the outlining, and again, I've created these subtasks days based on when I want them done. Right. So if I said that I want this recorded 3 weeks before it's due, and then I kind of backwards planned everything else, choosing the mid-roll and recording it. So I'm not going to check this off because I'm actually doing this right now, but I need to decide what mid-rolls do I want. Most of the time it's like a freebie or the book, but sometimes I do promotions. I have my own promotions. I have affiliate promotions. So I want to look at my content calendar and ask myself, what do I want to do? And record a new mid-roll if needed. And then I'm going to create the outline for the episode. So as you can see, I already went a little bit out of order, but I'm not going to fault myself on it because honestly, I was just like feeling inspired. I was like, I just want to record. So I just recorded. Again, my method isn't about having to be the most structured person all the time. My method is about flexibility and intentionality. Intentionally, we have this system. Flexibility wise, I was like, screw it. I'm just going to throw my camera on and record this because I'm feeling like it. As humans, we have to be able to do that. But if you don't have any sort of system, then when it is time to sit down, you're not going to know where to go. So I want you to have a system with permission to customize it. Okay. So I'm not going to close this. I didn't even make an outline. I'm just recording, but we're going to close that task up. Now, again, the next thing says 1 week before interview is you send the guest outline, the Zoom link, and the day before you send them a reminder. That's part of our subtasks that are in here for my executive assistant. I'm going to hit complete because we don't have a what's it called? A guest today, just me. And then on August 28th, so this episode is going live October 2nd. On August 28th, I should be recording. Okay, so I actually want to check this because I'm feeling like maybe my subtasks are wrong. But here's what I'm thinking. I told myself 3 weeks before the episode goes out, I want to have it done. Oh yeah, I'm way ahead. Oh, look at me. Look at me getting so ahead. So this has it. If my subtask is due October 2nd to go live, 3 weeks before, I want to have it done. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, this is 5 weeks. Oh, this is this week. So this is 4 weeks before. All right, I'm going to change that to 4 weeks before because 5 weeks is a little bit too far out for me. And the reason that I gave it here this week is if this is the day it goes live, we count back 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 weeks before it's due, I'm going to record. So that gives my editor 2 weeks to edit, show notes, do her thing. That gives my assistant 1 week to work on the promotion, and then it goes live. Okay. This is our goal. Now, we don't always do this. We're not there right now. I mean, actually, look at us. I'm there right now. I didn't even realize I was so ahead. But this feels really good to me. This feels really good because it really allows me to get, ahead. So I'm going to hit close. I'm going to keep it at 4 weeks because I'm there right now. So why would I not? Right. And I'm recording this episode today. I'm going to close it, which is really good. So what this tells me then is we need to keep going through the process. And I would also move through the process here. Recording is done. Now it moves to imaging and promotion. The next thing we have on our list is emailing the guests. Thank you. Obviously, we have no guests, so I'll close that. Inviting guests to an IG takeover. That's something we do. Again, we have no guest. And then this gives my editor, editing is complete by the 17th. So if I record it, let's go back into the calendar. If I recorded it here, that gives her 2 weeks to have it done. And that's a good amount of time, right? That's enough time for everybody to get their job done. As you move through, it then says upload the complete file. If we have a guest, show notes completed, creating any images, add them to our promotional doc for review. Episode gets scheduled, add it to the new podcast page. And then it comes back into my hands. And then I need to review the promotion. I need to give my stamp of approval. This can go live. And then it goes back to my team to schedule the promotional posts, remind guests of the Instagram takeover. So this is the one I want to move. Actually, I'm going to move this here because look, I'm noticing it's not in the right order. I want to start doing like an announcement of the video because we're going to start scheduling it. So I want to have all of that done once it's all reviewed. So then everything can get scheduled. All the emails can get written. And then it says email the interviewee the link. So you don't have to worry about that because there's no guest. And now we're back on track. If you ever want your subtasks back in ClickUp, you can click the completed ones. It'll show what we've done and what we've not done. And we can hit hide here. And then it's all set and ready to go. And it feels really good to be organized like this because what you can do is you can look right at your calendar and see everything by color. You can see that I need to record these episodes, which I'm kind of mad at myself because I realized I'm going to delete all these because I had the wrong dates on it. So actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head over to the list view because I want to show you something because you can bulk. So I feel like they're probably under brainstorming. Let me go to the brainstorming. Oh, wait, hold on. It's not going to have it on this board. Let's go to this list view. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to find the brainstorming column here because I want to delete the cards that I made already because I just fixed 2 subtasks on my template and I want to make sure that it's all set up. Okay. So I just here these ones that I just made and I realized that I made a mistake on them. So what I can do in ClickUp is I can bulk click them and delete them. My team's probably gonna be like, why are we getting so many notifications? Sorry, guys. And I'm gonna go to trash and I'm gonna get rid of those because I made a mistake on that. Now I'm gonna come back to the calendar and I'm gonna go back to my template card here and I wanna like fix it up a little bit because I recognize that I made some mistakes here. So where was it? Record episode. All right. So if this was scheduled to go out on September the 21st, this is the day it's supposed to go out. Let's count back by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So technically I want it done here by the 24th of August. Okay. So I'm going to move that around. And then that also tells me that I need to, oh no, that's good. That I need to move a couple things else. So I'm going to change the subtasks of the things that I just messed up. And again, you can head over to YouTube if you want to like watch watch all this happen and just make sure all my other subtasks were fixed. I know that I also put in here that I wanted to have, let's see, these in the right order. Okay, and now I think we look good. So what I need to do though is save this as a template. So I'm going to hit these three dots. I'm going to go to template. I'm going to make a new template for it to show you, but you can also just update templates you already have. So I'm going to say save as template, and I'm going to call this one Q4 podcast SOP template. Okay. And what this is going to do is allow me every single time I go to make a podcast episode, I don't have to retype any of this. Now we're time saving. Okay. So it's going to make this now for us. And then I'm going to show you the next part and the last part that I do to kind of get myself organized. All right. Template is created. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head over to October and I'm going to set those cards up like I was trying to do before. Now, one of the things you want, if you want to use a template on ClickUp, is you're going to give it a name. So I'm going to just call this 372 for now here. Now, this is just a blank card because it's got nothing in it. But if you head over to these three dots, they're up on the right side. And again, I know this is super visual, so hopefully, you're following along if you're listening on the podcast. And if you go to template, you can browse templates. Now, I just called that Q4, so I'm going to find it Q4 podcast SOP template, and I'm going to use the template. I actually want to customize. I have to go back and fix that customization because I don't need the watchers and I don't need the comments. So I'm going to use this template. Give it a second. And what it's going to do is it's going to upload the template into that card. And now I don't have to retype. Work smarter, not harder. Setting these systems up is really going to help you out. So as you can see now, if you look here, all my subtasks are still in here, right? For this. Oh no, I messed something up here. Oh no, here it is. I was like, where'd it go? It did bring the watchers in. I didn't want these here. All right, so I'm going to remove those. I got to fix that. It's in the brainstorming, and now all of my stuff's here. So I'm not retyping everything. And everything's really, really good to go. Now, one of the things that's really cool is, let me hit refresh on my page, is that you can then take this card and move it where you want. And the subtasks on ClickUp, they're going to move around, which is really, really fun. So, oh no, where did my card go? Let me find where it went. Oh, I don't know why. I'll have to ask Rhea. She's my ClickUp expert on my team. I have to ask her why this isn't working. But this is 372 is not supposed to be this date. So what I'm going to do is move it to the date that I want it, which is October the 5th. Hit close, and it's going to say, do you want me to change the subtasks? So I'm going to change the subtasks. And then if I head over here, it's changed all the dates for me. And so that's really great because now my dates are changed. I know if I'm behind, I know where I'm at. Again, if I record this episode today, I'm back on track with things and I can continue to set it up. So what I could do is I could just keep duplicating it. I can call this one 373. I could also just use the template card. And then when it loads up, I'll just move it where I want. And then I will lay these out for the entire quarter. So now we're planned out for the quarter and now it's just on us to follow the tasks. So listen, this was a huge, very fast ClickUp 101. And I hope that you enjoyed seeing it over on the YouTube channel. And if you listened to it on the podcast, I hope it made sense as I explained something that was very visual. Show notes for this are going to be at episode 371. You can head over to apurposedrivenmom.com/podcast 371. Click the link to go right to the YouTube channel. I think you're going to enjoy it. And if you want to see more visual stuff, if you have more questions, just drop it in the comment and we can chat.